maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see tomorrow.
We'll see. We'll see how that holds up, especially since, you know, this year it's going to be a very, very interesting season. We have 2 new teams, as you mentioned, Pilski.
Yeah.
We are pleased to welcome Nongshim, Red Force, and Boom Esports as we check out our teams here. We now have 12, and I feel like these are going to be like, you know, such amazing additions to Pacific, especially since we've had a lot of roster shuffles here and there, and it's just going to be so different compared to last year.
I think a lot of people are anticipating the rise of Nongshim Red Force, you know, the Noodle team coming up into Pacific. It's going to be amazing to see what they can do, because they just seem to get better and better coming into Ascension from VCLKR. You expect teams that are rookies that don't have as much experience going up to the next level of competition to choke, to not do as well, but actually in Ascension they went almost flawless until they had a bit of a stumble in the grand final. I'm keen to see if that's going to continue to go forward into Pacific and they're going to continue to take names.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a different level of play, and that's very important to reflect on, but Nongshim were a powerful team all the way through 2024, so I'm very excited to see if they're able to bring that into 2025.
Right. And how that translates into Tier 1 finally, right? Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. We have a lot to actually break down. A lot's happened in the off season, okay?
Been a few months.
So give us a bit. And, you know, part of that is the map pool also. I think this is one of the changes that basically has such an important impact on several teams here in Pacific.
It has an impact on any teams. I think this just changed stylistically the way that teams will have to play. We've taken out Ascent, we've taken out Sunset, 2 kind of mid with lanes maps where you have 2 sites, and then you've put in Fracture, which is such a fluid map, as well as the 3-site map of Lotus, where you have to play a little bit more fluidly on attack. You're going to have a very different style compared to the rigid and kind of, you know, metacomp style of Ascent, and Sunset kind of starting to be figured out a little bit as well.
Yeah, that's definitely the big thing for me. Ascent has kind of been quote-unquote solved for a while. We saw that default comp with the Silver and KO get used across many years now, and almost every team can kind of play Ascent in that comp. At this level, it was very plug and play. Everybody knew how to do it, but we swap across to Fracture especially, where I think now with the new additions to the agent roster, which we're going to cover, but that opens it up wildly. It's a much faster map. I think the comp variation, I think it's very fun for PoPlay, and it's very fun for the viewers at home watching.
I'm super excited to have Fracture back, just because it's a map that, like, it's so much fun to watch. I almost wonder if teams will actually miss Ascent. I mean, like, individually, nobody misses Ascent. But to have that kind of safety net, like, you know, no matter what, you will know how to play Ascent, right? I wonder about that, as well as, of course, our new agent, Taeho. As, you know, the big brains on this desk, how do you think Taeho is going to come into the picture this year? Will we see him in kickoff? A lot of teams have said no.
Really? I mean, I think, like, we've seen already teams adopt him in China. We've seen teams already play him in EMEA and NA. He had kind of middling success in those regions until NA this morning, where they won 4 times with him, the 2 games that were played. So I think he definitely will be played. It's just a question of how many teams want to take that risk with the limited time they've had to practice him.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the big trade-off. I think Taeho is coming in and he is very powerful. I think just looking at it objectively, he's very simple to play in kind of a lot of ways, and brings a lot, especially his the guided salvo ability. The way you're able to use that ability, you know, it refreshes throughout the round, so you have big damage for your default, for your executes, and then for your post-plant on the attack. It's very strong, in my opinion. So I think we will see teams want to use it, but they've not had a lot of time to practice. So it's that big trade-off of, do we think this agent is good enough where we can blow up the 2 months of work we've done before this? And different teams will take different approaches to this. I think if you're more of an underdog, you have players who are able to be more flexible, then you're much more likely to take the risk. But the more heavily, like, kind of structured you are as a team, I think the less likely you are to go for it, because you want to trust what you've done in the past. So I think it will be hit and miss.
Spoken as somebody who's maybe had to blow up like 2 months of work in the past, perhaps.
Many times.
Well, I'm pretty sure you guys are already very familiar with Taeho. You probably picked him up in game, maybe played in compositions with him, but you know what? We're going to show you this video anyway, so let's check it out.
태호는 사기다. 어떻게 쓰느냐에 따라서 다른 것 같은데 각 지우기가 되게 좋은 것 같습니다.
Tail is overrated. Stun is bad, easy to dodge. You know, like Molly, I never took a damage from it.
His basic utility, like on E, that breaks Killjoy ulti, one agent free ulti breaks other agent ultimate in any ways.
태호는 아쉽다. 정말 좋은 캐릭터라고 생각하지만 아직 1% 아쉬운 캐릭터라고 생각합니다.
너무 좋습니다. 저는 태호야 고맙다. 랭크에서 좀 쓸게.
まあ俺は作戦とか考えるの好きなんで、テオのスキルは作戦をいっぱい作れそうで楽しそうだなって思います。
제가 감시자 포지션을 맡다 보니까 자꾸 태호가 제 스킬 깨가지고 짜증나는 것 같아요.
저는 태호 미사일이 너무 아파가지고 싫어합니다. 미사일 피하기 게임인 것 같아가지고.
지금 발로란트는 변질됐다 하시는 건가요?
네.
저와는 관련이 없는 발언임을 밝히는 바입니다.
Teho, I think looking good and yeah, good ability. Yeah.
Which ability?
Every
ability?
yeah.
He said every ability.
Can I just say Munchkin is that like high expectations Asian father? He's like, you know what? If this Asian isn't 100, if the agent isn't 100%, I'm not playing him. He's 99% right now, so it's like, oh, you're let down.
Yeah, I think, look, at the end of the day, when you are the RGL of the team, along with the coach, you are probably the two dads of the team that have to, you know, corral all your children to try to do the right strategies, you know, get to practice on time, don't sleep in till 1 p.m. So, look, at the end of the day, I'm glad that he embodies that energy, and that probably speaks to why Gen G was so successful last year. You know, the strats, the good performing players, throw all that out the window. It's the dad energy.
Well, yeah, I mean, that definitely did come out. And shout out to Margaret too for speaking for the Sentinels.
Yeah.
Yes, you know, salute to you. We absolutely are scared of this alpha.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a point and click way to break the Sentinel util, which is so strong, and it means you have to be very adaptable in how you play this Sentinel if you want to keep using it. But it also means we might see that rise of the other, you know, less traditional Sentinels, things like Deadlock, things like Vice coming in now.
Even Sage a little bit
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it opens the door wide open for them. If Teo is successful, then these other types of Sentinels should take more place and become more successful as well.
Well, it's really interesting to see how these teams are going to match up against each other, right? Especially since you have, you know, some that maybe are very defense heavy, will probably lean into the Sentinel meta, will probably be the ones to figure out how to, you know, counter Teo the most, especially since looking at our bracket here, we have very interesting matchups, and we're like very likely to see those kind of face-offs.
Yeah, this is the biggest defining thing about kickoff, right? It's a double elim bracket. You've got your 4 teams seated ahead based on how they performed last year. And this is the thing, compared to 2 groups of group play where you have to play everyone and you have to prepare, they try to beat Talon, which might be, you know, perceived as one of the less.
It's kind of slower league play. You have a whole week and you know exactly who you're going to play. So you will do your anti-strat ahead of time, and then you start feeding that into how you practice. In a faster format like this, there's times where you don't know who you're going to play next. You have to wait on the result of a matchup, or the turnaround can be as fast as a few days. So that also changes how teams like to structure and how they like to prepare for these kind of competitions. It's kind of okay to be slightly more obvious in how you play, because if you get anti-stratted, it's much harder to be like completely and utterly countered in this same way, because the turnaround is so fast. So we see teams trying to lean into a little bit more kind of set piece type styles, and it's very easy to make that work at the start of a team's life cycle.
Yeah.
So you think we're seeing less of those like dedicated, we prepare this especially for, you know, Talon, or we prepare this especially for DRX? Are we going to see less of that in kickoff?
Yeah, you won't be able to, and especially the teams with less resources. Like, not every team has 3 coaches and uses, you know, that Korean approach. Like, some teams only have 1 coach. So at the end of the day, it's going to be a lot harder for those teams to be, you know, watching both teams. It's a big, big workload.
Not to mention, you're going to be up against a team that maybe has a completely different roster this time around, right? For example, we have T1, who basically decided to assemble the Avengers of Korean Valorant right here, and are looking like, you know, definitely one of the favorites, potentially top 3, top 2, maybe up there for kickoff.
Yeah, definitely looking like one of the better teams in the league. I just want to calm it down a little bit to start with, though, because like at the end of the day, like T1, they've got some very, very good players, but we still need to see them play some better teams. They definitely did beat, you know, G2 Foot in the off-season. Those are very good results. The C9 wins I'm not as convinced by, you know, because they've made some changes in their off-season themselves. Sylvan's had a long kind of break, but they look fantastic in the off-season with the new roster, but I do still need to see them play the rest of Pacific before I'm sold 100% on
the better teams, as you mentioned.
Yeah,
the
like
better
DRX.
teams, yes.
The best teams.
Yes, the best teams. The best teams.
Of course.
What about you, Big Time?
Yeah, I think with a team like T1, I think off-season always has to be taken with a pinch of salt, whether those results are good or bad.
Yeah.
But I do think what is nice for them is they're now all returning home to Korea. They get to play in front of their home fans. They get to be around family and friends a lot more.
Communicate in Korean entirely. No more international roster like they had last year.
Yeah, that's a really big deal. It really smooths over a lot of communication issues. So I'm positive on that. I'm looking forward to it.
We also have like DRX making a few changes as well. We saw the overhaul of the roster last year. You're continuing on the new blood as well for DRX coming into 2025, but a bit more refined. Now there's more of a foundation for them to work with.
Yeah, Buzz going out. I mean, he's been there forever, and this is really the new era of DRX. No more Vision Strikers and, you know, the original identity that we've had for a very, very long time. Now we're going in with the new era. We're picking up Freein, we're picking up Yeonmin. These guys both look amazing. Bane, you know, we've seen him have a fair bit of experience. He's even played at Champs and stuff like that at this point. So this is a very promising roster for me, even though I think a lot of people are more so looking at Paper X, looking at Genji, and looking at T1.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for this roster. In my mind, with DRX, you can never count them out. The amount of times they've made these changes, like Stacks leaving, or when they first brought in Foxy9, and well, this is the end of DRX. I can't count how many times it's been the end of DRX, and it never is.
We can look at the changes, but at the end of the day,
Mumpung dari 2K kita ramein nggak sih? Jadi kita tambahin terus
konten-kontennya.
Jadi aman.
Manja
ya, udah ya. Aman ya, kita nonton Watch Party boom ya.
You have a DRX. Foxy9 went over the Genji. You still have this like core, similar to DRX, where you have the core from last year. You just made a few tweaks here and there. I still think this is going to be a very scary team, even without, say, somebody like Meteor.
Yeah, I mean, Foxy9 in for Meteor, that's really, really big shoes to fill. I mean, I don't think anyone even expects him to necessarily fill those shoes. And the Senti role is going through a bit of a transition at the moment anyway with Vice coming in, so he can find a little bit of space to be maybe a less
sebenarnya juga sih nanti apa Zeta lawan si kalau dulu kita sebenarnya apa sih namanya sebelum launching Red Forest sebelum itu si SPG ya itu enak juga sih buat tonton. Gue mau lihat SPG sebenarnya di sini ya karena dari segi player masih sama semuanya, Dambinya, Eevee, Persia. Gue berharapnya Boom bisa ketemu SPG lagi biar bahas tentangnya. Ketemunya mau di mana terserah.
But I think they're plugging the holes well, and I think obviously keeping that coaching staff, they want to try and bring across as many systems as they can from their success last year. And it's just about hoping that, like we say, these new players can fill those shoes well and try and make it click like they did last year.
Speaking of which, you know, we have a roster that is very close to your heart in certain ways, big time. So this GE roster is an entire overhaul, and you're bringing in new coaches as well, you know.
Oh, thank God for that as well, because the old coach, like the assistant coach, is the biggest upgrade as far as I'm concerned in this new roster. They haven't put on the graphic yet, but
I heard he was very handsome. Wonderful worker.
Yeah, at least 6 foot for sure.
I wonder what he's doing now.
I wonder too. But some of these players I'm very excited about. Honestly, Yudatan in Rare Atom, I was watching a lot of the Chinese Ascension. He was right up there with Freein, fragging out of control. Crystal over from Chinese Ascension, 2 Ascension Grand Finals in a row. How the hell does it take this long to get this guy when he's this good into Tier 1? And Papi Chulo, OG, man. OG even before Valorant, like Filipino TAC FPS player. I'm liking the direction that Global's going.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely like how they've built this roster. I do think overall it's probably an upgrade to what we had in 2024. I think they're trying to spend in the right places. Bringing in a big import like Crystal, I can definitely see where they're trying to take this team. And I think this is a dark horse for this year.
I agree, yeah.
They have to make it click. It's hard with it being an entirely new roster, but I don't think it's impossible for these guys.
Not to mention, you also have a little bit of a change on the side of RQ. You have Kushi in for Elmimore, right? And from what we've seen in the offseason, Kushi definitely is somebody who can click those heads.
Yeah, I wasn't super excited about it, but again, this is kind of like the RRQ method, it seems like. Like they have their eyes and their hands on the Filipino scene. They know who's good. They can pick up even some of the Filipino guys in the past as well. So they've clearly extensively trialed and picked this guy for a reason. As Mika said, he's already played very well in the off-season. I'm more excited about the coach change, though, coming in, to be honest.
Yeah, they added in Warbirds for this offseason. Warbirds is, so I've played against him.
Yang awalnya kalau lihat di Predator League, Aldrico masih agak kesok di final Indonesianya, tapi di
They
Apa
always
kayak
have the
udah
best
mulai
anti-strat.
menyatu
That's what
lagi
kind of what they
dengan
were known
adanya
for.
Nakia di sana.
And you knew that you were better off anti-strat
Dan
than
gua
yourself to
gua
figure
liat
out what they were seeing.
dia
So
masukin
I think
Sayo
adding
sama
in that
Admiral
coaching
King ya.
support to help Ewok along as
Adrian
well.
King,
I mean,
sorry,
it's
Admiral
double the
King.
brains.
Adrian King
As well as this roster
dibuat
change
misi
where
di
it's getting
Pacific
slowly
nambah 2
iterated over time, and now I
player
think
lagi
it's at the point where
buat
they're kind of
di
reaching their final
Challengers,
form now, and they really want it to all
buat
come
alter
together,
ego.
smash through playoffs, and look for international events.
Speaking of international events, I do know that Paper Thin and Achilles are very, very high on this team. DFM, they are expecting DFM to suddenly make an international from being elated that they just won one match last year. Now they're like, oh, DFM, they're going to playoffs. Maybe they're getting those points. Maybe they're going to Masters Bangkok. Who knows?
I don't
DFM
think that
DFM
people
juga salah satu yang kuat juga
necessarily
nih.
said that unless they'd had
Ini
such
lumayan
promising
kuat juga,
results in the
guys.
off season. Like they honestly looked like they were testing Paper X a little bit. They made the final of an off season event as well. So DFM have done very, very well for themselves.
Kalian akan
But
pakai
if I
Inggris
look
apa
at
akan
just
pakai
the
Indo ya
names on
nontonnya?
paper
Inggris
and
kali ya,
the
Inggris
fact
seru
that
kan ya?
you know these aren't players with any sort of Pacific experience, and honestly the other Japanese team has gone a similar direction where we're picking up players from Challengers Japan and things like that. I don't know if I'm necessarily like amazed by the changes, but it seems to be working out.
Yeah, I mean, I like what they're doing with this. I think nobody would disagree with me when I say changes were kind of needed within DFM.
Sure.
And I think they're bringing in this cast to support May a lot more and become less of this one-man team.
Help May.
Yeah, absolutely.
Please.
I think the player I'm most excited for is Jinbung.
Ini tes pertamanya
Scrimming
Boom,
against him last year, he was very, very powerful. He always does great on the Asian rank leaderboard. I think he's going to be the one to watch.
di mana
DFM.
dia
Not to
bakal
mention we
masuk
also
ke
have Zeta, who
Pasifik.
we will be seeing a little bit later
Untuk-
on today with some
apa
very
namanya?
big changes, especially, you know, trying to fill in Laz's shoes. That's going to be
Untuk ngakoni laga pertama
quite
sih.
a tall order, but we will
Tunggu,
have
sorry,
time to
dulu
talk
kali ya.
about them a little bit later on. While I have you guys here, you guys know this is coming, right? We need to have a tier list. Come on, we need to have a tier list at the top of the day, and it's been right here this whole time. This is why this is here, right?
Yeah.
Of course, we have like, you know, our new additions here. I want to know how you guys are ranking this. I did watch your stream on Tombiz, by the way. I'm taking note if you are sticking to those. So let's start a little bit here. Why don't we try? Let's start with Zeta, where we left off. Where are we putting this?
Wih,
Yeah.
Watch
Sorry.
Party nih.
I think,
Boom,
well,
boom,
yeah,
boom,
Is it Zeta
boom,
Division?
Yeah, Zeta Division, that's right.
Sabar,
sabar,
D for
sabar.
delicious. I just, look, they're picking up, it's basically more Fennel than it is Zeta at this point. They're picking up 3 Japanese Challengers players into the Pacific League with the coach, although I have a lot of
Watch
respect for
Party
Jonta,
Boom
who's,
sekarang langsung
you know,
aja
coaching
klik
before
playing
that on
player
K9
guys.
TAC FPS,
Ya,
but
ramekan,
compared to the rest of the
ramekan,
field,
let's
this
go,
is
let's
probably going to be one of the weaker
go.
teams here, even though they had a couple of good wins in the off-season.
Big time.
I mean, I think you have to put T1 in S
Has to be
tier
S.
with these
Let's go,
changes.
ramekan
Alright.
guys.
They have built the Korean super team. I think these, like you said before, these are probably the favorite coming into kickoff. I think the way, it's really hard to describe, but it's always difficult when you bring that much power together
Yeah.
in one room. It's hard to know
You
how
don't know
egos
if it's going
play
to
out.
implode
Yeah.
or if it's going to work.
Exactly. Like
Right.
super teams always look good on paper and
Yeah.
always end up being a little bit worse. But I think these guys all being Korean, I think they've all known each other for a very long time. I think if there's one way, if there's one team that can make this work, it's going to be T1.
Very important question. We're going to speed it up again. The DRX.
D for DRX, right?
D
'Cause it starts
for
with D.
DRX.
They're at the top. They're at the top of A for me. I don't know if you agree with
yeah,
that.
I would agree. A or B. I think.
Are
we
you
kind of
saying
need to
DFM is
Sabar
D as
dah.
well? Because it,
Uh,
where does DFM?
I think C because of off-season results.
C!
But maybe a little lower in,
Oh,
in.
I would go B.
You reckon B?
I would bring them up. I'm excited for DFM.
You're excited for
you're not
DFM?
a you're not a May believer.
I'm
not
gonna
a
put it
believer yet.
in the right in the middle here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And then PRX goes
S.
where?
S.
S.
Send it up.
Everyone knows.
All right. Nongshim. Oh,
Uh,
this is an important question.
A tier.
A. Top of
A.
A. as
I'm
well.
excited for them.
Top of A.
Ah, okay. Hype. Big time.
Global.
I'm giving this to you.
Yes.
C.
No,
Wow.
I think that this team has to go in B, in my
B.
opinion. I think
B.
they have a lot to
Okay.
prove, but it's a solid roster.
Gen G.
Gen G.
S.
S.
S. You can't have 3
Plenty
T1.
pressure.
and the
T1
coaching
aja taruh
roster
S
that
sama
they have
mereka.
and not say they're S.
Okay.
And even maybe upgrade the initiator role.
That's fair.
Come on, bro.
RRQ.
A or B for me.
B.
A or B? I'll
A
put
is
them
a bit much.
here.
A or
Trust me.
B.
Let's have
DFM
movies
DLC.
first.
Unfortunately,
Beasts.
although D for DOS9. Let's go. D for DOS9. I
Yeah,
love
they-
DOS9.
So you have the
Understand.
most to prove.
Talon.
Talon.
A has to be A. After
Wah,
what they did
ujung
last,
ke
they
ujung nih,
just
guys.
qualified.
Talon is a bird. And
Yeah.
Secret. Where are you putting this?
Oh man. They're
Don't
not hard.
disappoint me,
C.
my guy.
B, I guess, between C and B. Yeah.
We'll
Okay.
take that.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I think I have room to, kind of like change your mind a little bit, as we go on. But, this, I wouldn't say I disagree totally, especially since, we have Boom Esports here in D, as you guys mentioned. But these players, these boys out of Myeongdong, as they mentioned, I feel like they're coming in very, very hungry. They're eager to show that they can actually stand up to the teams in Tier 1. They belong here.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think this is a team with the most to prove, realistically.
For sure.
They didn't win Ascension, and they got here. How are they got here?
They were on map point in the grand final, to be fair.
They
Let's just make that clear. And they were down 0-2, so they really scraped it together. They were so up and down in Ascension. Look, I think for Boom Esports, now is the time. Let's be honest, coming off the off-season, they're playing against a team that is very strong at the moment, but it's just made a lot more changes than they have. They have existing chemistry, they have an existing map pool. This is the best time if you're ever going to see a Boom Esports upset over T1. This would be the time to do it as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
See, this is kind of funny because it's like, oh, it's your first day at the office. Guess what? You're up against T1. And it feels like they kind of went from the frying pan into the fire at this point.
It's absolutely a trial by fire for them.
Yeah, T1, I'm interested to see what they're going to be bringing into Pacific here. Obviously, the off-season has been fantastic for them. They might have even surprised themselves a little bit, despite the fact that they've got some amazing players on their roster. I think Stax has very consistently been leading these Korean squads to very consistent placements. Maybe not able to get trophies. I give him a bit of a pass for stage 3. You get dropped into an international roster. That's a very difficult situation to be put in. I want to see what he can do with a Korean roster. And now he's back with old mate Buzz. So, that IGL and duelist synergy, very important.
Yeah, very, very important. I think one big talking point for this match is that all the pressure is on T1. I don't think there are many people predicting Boom to win this game, and I think Boom will kind of understand that. So the pressure is on T1 to perform and deliver, and Boom can kind of play a little bit more stress-free.
That's a good point, especially since we have seen very powerful teams crumble under that kind of pressure in the past, right? Unfortunately, especially here in Pacific. But as we're seeing our map veto right now, we are seeing Pearl is up first, and we're seeing that Boom is going to go back into Vine. What happened the last time they were on Vine? But they're going to be up against T1.
For Vine Fracture.
You were there, weren't you?
I was casting it, unfortunately. Yeah, look, Boom. I think Pearl is the best chance for them to get a dub. I like that direction in terms of the veto. Actually, for T1, even with their success in
Kenapa ada pas ada Boom Fracture masuk lagi gitu ya? Kayak ada sebuah pertanda gitu nggak sih, guys? Ada Boom Fracture masuk, ingat itu? Agak sedikit takut.
Well, guess what? We've waited months for Pacific. Let's not delay any longer. Let's throw it over to the stage to start off VCT Pacific 2025.
Nggak sengaja. Gue mendukung Boomnya doang. Jadi kita nonton coba. Serem banget ya, respasi gitu.
Back-to-back grand finals. JJ.
가장 높이 올라왔던 서울로 돌아왔습니다. 지금 많은 팀들이 작년에 젠지 아니면 그 이상을 꿈꾸고 있을 텐데 그 자리는 쉽지 않다라는 걸 보여드리고 싶습니다. 작년에는 승리하는 법을 배웠기 때문에 작년에 만족하지 않고 이번 연도는 더 많은 것들을 이루고 싶기 때문에 젠지는 젠지다라는 걸 보여드리겠습니다.
사실 변화를 계속 겪는 게 쉬운 일은 아니죠. 그런데 계속 생각하는 게 있어요. 결국에 DRX는 DRX다. 이번에도 보여드릴게요. 여러분의 걱정이 어떻게 환호로 바뀌는지.
이번 저희 멤버들은 이름값을 못할 수가 없는 멤버들입니다.
belum cek.
방금 좀 너무 연기 투어한 느낌이
저도 느꼈습니다. 저도 느꼈어요. 저희 멤버들은 이름값을 못할 선수들이 아닌 것 같아요. 이번은. 지난 몇 년간 이제 T1이라는 팀이 성적이 조금 부진했었는데 원래 알고 있던 T1은 머릿속에서 잊으시고 이제 새로운 T1을 이제 받아들일 준비를 하십시오.
The reason why we qualified for champs last year is because we put in so much effort
Kejadian deh, bentar gue bacain
every
ya.
day in it.
Buat kameramen tuh.
So as a player, I've always wished
Tunggu,
to
bentar.
lift a trophy before I retire. So I hope this season will be the season that I lift the trophy.
24年はチームの方向性を見失って、どうやって成長していけばいいかが分からなくなっていつも自信がないまま試合に挑んで負けてたって感じでしたね。25年はもう完全に新しいチームになりました。強くなったゼータディビジョンを楽しみにしておいてください。
Kalau Zeta, DFM.
지금까지의 DFM은 솔직히 잠겨 있었다고 봐야죠.
Lagi guys.
이제 더 이상 저희는 바닥에 있지 않을 겁니다. 우린 이제 원맨 팀이 아니라 원팀으로 거듭나겠습니다.
In order for us not to be called an ordinary team, we need to make an impact. The 2025 goal is to go beyond Pacific and break the wall.
With all the disappointment and regret we got in 2024, we're
Sudah
already going
Arki
into
dulu.
2025 to was our disappointment and getting into our goal.
We always been together. We will continue to do so, and that's what drives us forward. As challenger, we will try to retake the throne. We will ignore the obstacles, and we will gonna keep pressing W. Please look forward to us lifting the trophy.
This year we don't have like a big expectation of fans, so we try to break it, we try to deny this expectation.
Global
We try to show our
esports.
best this season. And this year we show completely different global esports.
I know we are underrated and people think we are going to Pacific with pure luck. Me and my team gonna show you guys wrong.
어센션은 저희가 퍼시픽에 올라오기 위한 발판이었다고 생각합니다.
저는 저희 팀이 어디까지 통하는지 빨리 확인해 보고 싶어요.
최선을 다해서 올라가 보세요. 어차피 기다리는 건 젠지일 겁니다. 퍼시픽이 쉽지 않다라는 걸 보여드리겠습니다.
Oh. Ini opening yang selalu tunggu-tunggu guys.
Welcome to VCT Pacific 2025. Boom Esports.
It is the first match of VCT
Lu lihat
Pacific
sepatunya guys,
2025,
ya
and we have
sepatunya
one of our
Boom
newest
itu
teams going up against a
punya
team
sendiri
that
ya
is
guys ya.
poised to be one of the heaviest
Cuman dia yang punya.
Boom Esports
Desain
Welcome to
sepatunya.
Pacific. Why don't you take on T1 on
Ya,
your first day, by the way?
desain sepatu
This
cuma
game,
dia
big
doang yang
time.
punya.
Are
Ada
they
namanya
in for
juga.
a rude awakening just as the Pacific Dream begins?
It's looking like it, and I think
Lo
that's
orang
what
bisa
everyone's
lihat.
expectations are, but Boom have already denied expectations, or defied expectations, I should say, in that grand final against the Nongshim boys over in Ascension. They didn't win. They definitely could have. Map point in the last map of that grand final, they showed us a little bit of magic, and some of that's going to have to be present. Maybe some Kazakhstani magic mixed into the Indonesian magic here.
Yeah, absolutely. In my experience with DOS9, he very much deserves to be playing on this stage. I think he's incredibly talented, incredibly young, and I really hope he can bring that fire to the Pacific League.
I know that we
Let's
talk
go.
about Boom as if, you know, they're a brand new team. They are new to Pacific, but these aren't, you
Let's
know,
go, let's go, let's
very
go, let's
fresh
go, let's go.
players. I mean, you do have Famous, you do have Berserks, who were part of that squad that went up against Optic and Champions 2022, right?
Yeah.
They took a map off of them, and that was during peak Optic with Chamber on, with Ye on Chamber. Chamber Ye is the same thing.
Yeah, they took a map off of Zeta as well. We got
For
the map leader
Infector,
here though.
right?
Boom taking Pearl here, and then you got Bind and Fracture to decide. You know, we kind of discussed this a little bit before, but I think Boom, Pearl is a good bet for them. The only really thing we have to look at for that is the fact that they've been around long enough to know how Pearl plays, with a lot of these players being active during that period. Also, they've had a good result against a domestic team in an off-season tournament, and I think they're just picking it because it seems like a shakier map for T1, although T1 did smash Trace on it, who have been pretty solid themselves and actually taken a few big scalps and been a team that's turned a few heads in the Chinese region.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely interesting having Pearl back in the pool for the Pacific League. I think, especially with these changes. Oh, we have the picks here.
Yeah, so Agent Select. Yeah, I think it's looking like it's a pretty similar comp for both of these teams going to what they want to know. I think attack side first there for T1. They're going to have to work their way through a fair few traps, but it's going to be a KJ instead of a Cypher this time around. So going to rely on that ult play instead of, you know, the trips and things like that, which are going to be a lot more breakable by the Sova.
Yeah, absolutely. I like to think the Sentinel on this map is kind of just preference. I think you can get away with either, especially when there's no tail in the game like this. So it's a lot about preference. Like you say, a lot of it will come down to that ultimate. It gives you powerful ways to get into the game if you're getting behind by a little bit. I think the double duelist from T1 is definitely interesting. They've played this before. Izu on Yoru is terrifying. And it just lets them play that very, very fast style. We're still seeing Neon come out from Boom, so they're still going to try and match pace, but they have more answers in the initiators to try and slow them down.
Yeah, I think Neon was something that people questioned from Famous, but he did kind of Neon diff Danby on one of the maps on Haven in that final, so hopefully he's expanded his agent pool a little bit more, and Izu, I think, is going to be the defining player to watch for T1 for sure. He was up and down on some of the
Dia
games.
punya Boom belum ada nih. Apa dia bisa pakai belum? Ada nih coming soon kan?
VCT Pacific 2025. I do love that. You know, nothing too adventurous just yet. Let's, you know, save the surprises for a little bit later on. But you're absolutely right. You know, Izu on the Yoru has become such a signature actually for him. And the way he plays Yoru is also very unique. It's terrifying because he can strike at any point, but also there's a little bit of that sentinel-y kind of Yoru in his playstyle.
Yeah, I think the Yoru is always a really nice pick coming into this map because it gives you easy answers to that sentinel. Look at how teams generally control street. You might have an alarm bot there, you just have the turret. You can bait that out, you can break that.
Well, let's see if we see that indeed as we toss it on over to Paperthin and Achilles.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody, and welcome. VCT Pacific is so heckin' back. Woo! I'm Achilles, that's Paperthin. We're going to be guiding you guys through the action here on the opening day of the 2025 season, and off the rip, Boom, a trial by fire as they go up against T1.
Yeah, this is pretty interesting. I mean, for T1, it's a very similar start to last year where they're going to be facing an Ascension team off the rip. Let's hope there's nothing else that happens.
They're always the opening team. They're always in that opening series. Fingers crossed.
We're good. We're fine, I swear. But this is going to be a really exciting match
baru
for both of these spots. For T1 and for
dengan
T2, so much hype, so much pressure, like Big Time was talking about on this T1 squad coming into this year, because this is one of the best teams you could put together on paper for a Korean squad.
Alrighty, well, here we go. Pearl to kick things off in our opening series of VCT Pacific Kickoff 2025. T1 going to be starting things off on the attack. Just was highlighting it, that double duelist coming through. Let's see how Izu and Buzz can fare.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to be looking for T1 to do a lot of damage on this attacker side with this setup. It does offer some flexibility on the defensive side as well, of course, with the gate crashes to give you the ability to have Izu moving about the map to make sure he can match Boom Esports' rotations and that kind of thing. But it's going to be an early push out from Boom. And the same for T1 on the other side of the map towards B. A little bit of damage done to Buzz as well on his way in. For now, just the KJ util to deal with. As Boom is kind of slowed up, you still have Meteor lurking towards mid. Could have a role to play in this, but has the KJ util to keep track of him.
That spray through the smoke, not quite connecting. So Berserk's unable to find some opening damage. Slide for the Frenzy enhanced.
Nice!
Shot across, but it's Berserk who finds the killing blow. Buzz going to be taken down here. Swing onto the corner. A little bit more damage found. As Izu spots out another. Noting Shiro here on the side. A shot third forward from Stacks will be able to find the kill. Now a 4v4, the spike planted. But this lurk coming through from Meteor could be absolutely devastating.
Exactly what I was just looking at, Achilleos. This is completely unaccounted for.
Makes a bit of noise, but yeah, it's still not going to be noted quite just yet. No one turning back over towards him. Push into the hall. Shiro going to be able to find one. Famous gets the other. They've broken things open. Now that much more onus on this flank here from Meteor. Stacks trying to hold the line. Just managed to find one. Meteor now striking. Swings out, finds one. Puts himself into a 1v2. The Ghost in hand. Knows that he's here, knows that he's going to be holding down for that defuse, but can't quite find it. Has to go for the reload, swings back around, but it's just being held. And welcome to Pacific. Boom will go ahead and close out the opening round. Meteor will be able to collect these kills. Decent for his ult charge, but it will be a pistol going the way of Boom.
You can see the ideas for T1 are quite well thought out, but Boom able to just explode onto the site. A good kill here by Berserks, a nice flash as well. Gonna set him up there to keep him alive, even though the shock dart does catch him. And Meteor gets there, but that Astra util so valuable from DOS9. Yeah, sure, Meteor gets all the kills, but Boom gets the victory. Now over to a bit of a buy-up here on the Eco. A couple stingers coming through for the duelists of T1.
Intriguing call here from T1. Let's see how it does fare. Swing onto the corner, a little bit of damage going to go across there onto Famous.
Just got a ton of info off of that, though. Saw a couple of those players, and they're still going to make a go of it. And Overpulse to clear the back space.
Last lane coming through. Buzz able to slide him before Famous can get that Bulldog stabilized, so he's able to find the kill. Shiro spraying across the spectrum. He'll be able to find one. Isu taken down. Dylan goes SMGs on the floor. Slasher just cut down through the smoke as Meteor's going absolutely crazy. Comes up with a second there with that Ghost in hand. Berserk's all he can find is one, and this is a fantastic turnaround here from T1. Looking to close out this eco round, this half buy. Nice! DOS9 with a quick pivot. Coming up with two, and he gets the third. Damage dealt, but round victory not going to be found quite just yet.
Let's go, DOS9.
Oh, welcome to VCT Pacific. DOS9. What a play there to get things over the line. Still a lot of damage done by T1. Again, keeping Boom, pressing every round, trying to find answers. But Buzz swings on through. Able to find the first, pick up a Bulldog there. Then Meteor, just classic Meteor, right through the smoke, pistol in hand, dinking people like crazy. That is crispy from DOS9, expecting the swing out, take Sylvan down. Very cool, calm, and collected.
Let's go.
New player to Boom and to VCT Pacific. And now Boom is going to be on a bit of an eco, as still enough money in the coffers for T1 to go through with their full buy.
I don't think it's considered still pretty brutal, the economic situation here for Boom. See how they fare. Bucky in hand here for Famous. Meteor just tucked in along the corner. Swing out a little bit wider, and if he pushes onto that corner, he is basically dead to rights. Does get spotted out. Opts to back away. Opens up the distance a little bit more. Is the Bucky going to be less impactful here as the Prowler will not be able to spot him out.
He has no cover behind him, though.
Does not. He is completely out into the open. Pushing up over the top. A little bit wider of a swing, maybe can get a pixel out of place, jumps in, finds the headshot before Famous can even react. Meteor still on a heater.
Boom had felt the confidence there to maybe try to pressure onto Meteor, but obviously with the weaker weapon, you're going to be tough. A lot of damage taken there by Buzz. They're going to back off. Don't like the amount of firepower that's coming through from that Long B area. Still with mid control completely under Meteor's purview, they're going to be able to fully rotate over to the other side relatively confidently that they can maybe set up for this A push. Come through Art, come through Long. He stacks on his own against two members of Boom here potentially.
Let's see Slasher forward position, feels a headshot, Stacks on the floor. The rest of the players now pushing their way out of into the A site, but that's going to be a weapon recovered here for the 4 remaining players on Boom. Buzz late linger back, making sure that no one's going to be on the approach here from mid as the spike does get planted. But right now, T1 still not out of the woods. Boom. Could very well still convert this bonus, but Meteor's looking to be that first obstacle here for them. The push-up coming through, Dawson in behind one, but Meteor gets the transfer. Another 3K here for him. Lockdown now online. Likely won't be in the equation for this round, especially now that he is on the floor. 2v2 with Buzz at 16 HP. Still very doable here for Boom. On the hunt, swinging forward, tucked away back behind Flowers here is Sylvan. He's looking to play as disconnected as possible. Gravwell buys them some more time as there's the spot out. Shiro going to be taken down. Buzz look at the slide forward, but NC Slasher does put him on the floor, but time is not on his side here. Another start, set up, the tap, the spot out, NC Slasher, fantastic headshot in a 4K.
It's okay.
Will not be able to get this bonus conversion. T1 will get themselves online here in round 3.
These rounds have been down to the wire. Every single one comes down to the last player on one of the teams to try to make something happen. The money is going to be a little bit dodgy for both squads in some ways because there's just been so much damage taken. Meteor, just Mr. Reliable, was so damn good in Pacific last year. You always knew he was going to be good to get you a couple big kills when you needed it most. Still, things look a little disjointed. One of the things I really liked about T1 during the offseason, especially at Red Bull Homeground, was the way they were playing post plants. It was extremely clean, extremely well thought out. The way they would set up their utility, really, really good. And Sylvan does the best he can, but it seems like right now they're kind of taking some space, trying to fan out, trying to challenge Boom in some of these 1v1s. And they're often coming out on the worst end of it. And that's a huge pickup for Boom because they're able to take them on with the firepower that this team has to be able to go toe-to-toe with T1.
That's a huge 0 point there as well. Spots out damn near everyone. Slows up the approach here. And Shiro silently drifting across the side here. But and that anticipates Stacks is able to strike, finds him point blank. Berserk's going to be taken out Buzz with the judge, able to find another. Now Izu finding DOS9. Just the one casualty here. Sylvan is the only one dead. Given the investment here, Famous all on his lonesome in a 1v4, there's just not much that he can do at all. He sit back, try to pick off a player or two on an exit, but otherwise he's going to have to go ahead, tuck tail, and hide out somewhere across the map. T1 will tie things up at 2-2.
And this was a huge round because of the economic situation. Both teams were going to be on low cash if they were coming out of this on the worst end of it, and it's going to be Boom. We're going to be the ones that are looking at an eco in the next round. 4 guns looking to be carried over here by T1. Little bit of a peek out from Stacks, but overall this round came down to Izu. That utility to make that entry landed perfectly, opened it up for Stacks to push around towards screen. And that broke things open, and he had a couple big kills there as well.
Yeah,
so a nice turnaround for T1, turning up the tempo a little bit. And even with that spot, even with that information, T1 there just had a really well dialed up execute to pick Boom apart, find their way through to the cleanest round we've seen so far.
Yeah. Only one without multiple casualties on both squads. But yeah, just overall, solid entry. Flash the catch opens up for the 2 intro kills. Buzz just pushing forward with that judge.
Let's go, boys!
Devastation. I mean, Shiro, a second and a half earlier with that fragment.
Yep.
Could have undone everything there. Instead, it is T1 crossing the line, getting things tied up at 2-2, still with some critical ultimates in the bank, with plenty more on the way.
Dengan kamu
the hype coming through from Stacks. Buzz thinks about challenging Famous. Thinks better of it though. It's going to force the relay bolt out at least. A little bit of a change of direction, a little bit of change of pace here for T1. Still though, Meteor continues to be on mid duty, making sure that they have control of this space. Making sure they don't have to worry about that part of the map. They just force Boom out to the extremities. Try to really utilize their excellent setups that they showcased in the offseason. Ooh, we saw the arm.
Meteor looking for the timing there to try to find the kill. Famous pushing in, add that link on the flank. Oh, swing, and Meteor finding the first, looking for the second, and of course he's got it. 10-2-1. The B site completely wide open. Meteor, does he get jumped on here by Berserks? The Bucky in hand. Can he outdo him once again? He's pushing into that direction. Spike for now getting planted. Shiro will scoop up that Vandal from Famous's hands, but it looks like Meteor may just be treading in towards the Spider. Says no, tucks back behind the door, at least for now. A little bit noise heard. The Bucky shot goes up, and Meteor still collects it. Another 3K, 12 HP, tucked back to safety.
The stutter step there from Meteor. He just seems so aware that there could be a close range gun. He was right.
And he's got the 4th. Now on for an ace. DOS9, he is far forward here into the site. Something tells me Meteor not likely to get the opportunity here to close this one out, but the Recon will go ahead and spot him. And Stacks will go ahead and take it away. A flawless round now here from T1 as they gain the lead.
And now T1 really starting to get their footing underneath them. Yes, that was an eco for Boom. Boom has a couple ults coming through now. So does T1 that they can utilize. So a very, very crucial round here for Boom. It's just such a good stutter step. So aware there could be somebody hiding at that angle around the door.
12, 2, and 1 now here for Meteor.
Well, I've been saying it that I thought Meteor was the best player in Pacific last year. You're seeing why right off the rip, folks. He is just outrageously talented individually. Takes fights so well, so smartly, so confidently. A little bit of aggression towards A main, but not really any space created for T1. So Boom, able to get DOS9 up and in there, able to control that. So now they can really lean towards the other side of the map, try to collapse down towards T1 as they make their way over towards B or mid.
Bit of a high-low setup outside of Heart. T1 continue to linger into that position. Shiro still just trying to hold the door here. Slasher crouching here right in front of Famous, waiting to see the swing.
Use the dart to get the info there, yeah.
Swing out, there you go. Able to go ahead and collect 3 quick kills, one after the other. Buzz, Izu, Sylvan, all knocked down. Meteor now, can he continue to deliver? Well, delivers 1. Swing onto the corner, Shiro eliminated, but still, he's a 2v4. Jumps up, similar high-low setup here. As it's now on Stacks, it's a nice little item for him, but he cannot collect the eliminations. Boom will keep things evened up, 3-3.
And the timing there off because I think you're not expecting those players to be in that position. The Recon Dart does end up clipping them eventually, but the T1 players have already stepped out before the ping comes through. There you go. And they've already got a couple kills in the bag, so maybe just a little bit off on the positioning or timing, or not expecting the positioning from Boom. Really nicely handled there by Boom Esports. A good read on that scenario, catching T1 quite off guard. Now T1 has everything but Buzz's ult in the back pocket. Got the lockdown, you got the Hunter's Fury, you got the Cosmic Divide, and you've got Izu's Dimensional Drift, so you have a lot of opportunity to make life a living nightmare, and you can see Boom really playing back. They don't want to deal with any of these early ults. They don't want to get caught out. Just going to give up a little bit of space. Expecting some kind of set play, some kind of, quick execute. But T1 getting around that corner, and Meteor is unbelievable.
Swing out, DOS9. Targets there, but unable to find him. Fragment just going to be thrown down, but Cosmic Divide now in play. Locking everybody from Boom away from the site here for now. Slowly corralling over towards B as the spike does get planted.
You had the null command for Shiro, but already some of the players from T1 backing up, and with the lockdown already in play, Boom's just going to have to wait this out even more. I mean, is this just a full-on save already?
You see them rotating out. It's just a bit of a tempo diff here from the side of T1, not being able to get that null command out to prevent the lockdown from coming through. The time is just not on their side, so a 4-man save, unfortunately, having to be called here from Boom. A tough pill to swallow, but one that they must. T1 not going to be allowing for Boom to regain a lead. So it's going to be another flawless round, it would seem, as they move up 4-3.
Oh, this is fantastic for T1, not just because they win the round, but because they get to keep the Hunter's Fury and the Dimensional Drift going into that next round, and you're only one away from Buzz's Lightning Fingers, but not as crucial, of course, as well. Over on the other side, still a couple away from Berserk's lockdown. And yes, you will have Cosmic Divide and the Null Command available, but T1's going to have the impetus to use their ults, especially Izu's ult first, before you can really respond with those. So it should allow them to potentially get into another good post-plant setup. And that's where they're really, really dangerous. With these players, with their experience, they're going to know where they should be looking, what their jobs are, who should be focusing their util where. Makes it a really tough task for Boom, who has stood really, really well throughout this match so far.
Mask is on, Dimensional Drift in play here from Izu. Looking for the spot out, catches a glimpse there up Berserk's, turns sights back over towards B. Yeah, wanting to split and getting as much information as humanly possible. Spots out NC Slasher, sends out the fake out, swings under the corner, and Izu's able to find the elimination. gonna be K does get taken down. Famous able to answer one back. Sylvan taken out. Fragment now into the corner, pushing them back into the open, and Shero's able to collect the first. As Izu will fall. Man advantage now gonna be there for the side of Boom. In the meantime, Meteor slowly looking forward into A, calls for the rotate here from Stacks. Meanwhile, Buzz is gonna look to see if he can keep some attention over on this side of the map, if not find some eliminations. Fast lane up, slowly rotates out towards safety. In the meantime, Meteor, once again, deep position.
Feels like DOS9 somewhat aware that T1 could already be pretty deep onto the map, so they're going to set up and they're going to wait. They're expecting this aggression.
It's well anticipated. Scopes in, a couple shots coming out. Does he read that DOS9 is going to be on that flank? He tucks back away, doesn't even wait to try to spot it out. 0 Point will confirm that he's pulled back out of secret, but Meteor maybe looking to refill that position.
Swarm grenade out.
Since the Swarm Grenade keeps him staved off here for the moment. Buzz still just now getting ready to rotate around in towards main. Seems like maybe a moment too late, but Berserk's able to win out the fight. Meteor going to be put on the floor. Cosmic Divide. Set up, Stacks still here on the side, finds the first. Buzz able to get Famous as well. Buzz going to be taken down. It's all on Stacks, but it's going to be DOS9 to carry them over the line and keep things neck and neck. 4-4. Once again, we're tied up.
Oh, what a great Cosmic Divide there. Make things really, really tricky. Even though T1 answers very nicely. Stacks and Buzz. A long-time duo of players playing together since feels like, what, 2021, 2020? Something like that, a long time ago. But those two have been duoing, but still, this is a great retake. DOS9, a great read on the expected aggression. They've seen it earlier from Meteor, so they've got kind of the idea that that could be possible. Shows just why teams were so high on DOS9 after Ascension, why Boom reached out and grabbed him. The awareness there through the roof, and then able to come through and finish the job on the round as well. So now, Prowler out early. T1 take their time on this one. Kind of spreading the map a little bit. Try to put some pressure with the two duelists over towards B. There is that operator.
Spotted out the hair. Had to notice anything about Famous's position.
I was trying to bait a little bit, I think.
No. There's the swing up, but Izu wins the fight.
Izu duluan.
It must have been just a tiny bit of movement. Something to offset the shot. It felt like Famous should have had that one completely dialed in.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how Izu ends up winning that. Gonna clear the turret. See if Boom wants to get aggressive off the back of this. 4-man push from T1, but if Boom is able to take this space and T1 doesn't re-clear their backside, okay, the alarm bot is there to at least keep track of it. Pings are coming down. Boom, looks like they're gonna wait for their opportunity to strike.
Shiro full flashed up here at Secret, flash up over the top, trying to get a catch here onto the T1 players. Part able to be successfully avoided. Plan can now come through. As Izu sets up the gate crash, the wrap around here from the back.
DOS9 smoked off the alarm bot.
Smoked it off, and he's looking to try to pick his targets. Finds the first, looks for the second, and he gets all three!
One enemy remaining.
And see Slasher finding Buzz now, all on Izu, and he is a goner. They lose the first player, but the recollapse onto the site is absolutely gorgeous. The flank from DOS9 absolutely shatters T1. Boom, back in the lead.
What a debut. What a debut from this player from Kazakhstan. Absolutely beautifully read. The patience, the smoke to cut off the alarm bot. That's just nasty from Izu. What a flick. But he's just got him dead to rights. They have no idea. And yeah, Meteor catches him for a chunk of damage, but it's too late.
And the fact that he changed his mind after starting to fire. He sends off a couple of bullets over towards Meteor, says, oh no, I don't want that one. Goes for a different target, and still manages to connect onto all three. Gorgeously done. Well, that's going to force a timeout here from T1.
Itu ngebuat T1
not going to be
time
satisfied
out.
with how these last couple of rounds have gotten away from
Semua
them.
orang pasti megangnya T1.
No, for sure. It is
Masuk gua
a
juga
little
megangnya
bit of a
T1
head
sebenarnya.
scratcher at times. You know, but to be
Dari
fair, it
segi
just feels
pengalaman
like
T1.
Boom
Cuman
has a
Boom
pretty
nih
good
ngasih
T1
elemen
gets
surprise
momentum,
buat
gets some
sekarang.
rounds, they do some stuff, and immediately, Boom, you know, Shiro's downloading into his brain the IGL here for Boom Esports, and he's like, okay, here's some of their tendencies, here's the way they're playing mid. You know, Meteor will kind of mess with us early, and then he's been backing off. Sometimes if he doesn't find one of those picks, let's clear that turret, let's try to take that space. You know, and he's been putting DOS9 in positions to succeed, and DOS9 has been cashing in. Absolutely phenomenal stuff here for our Ascension team.
He's 3 away from tying up against Meteor here.
Unbelievable.
It's been a hell of a run back. I mean, that round obviously compensating for quite a bit. Boom, still in a very good position. Up here, still in the hands of Famous. Now lockdown. He's got the overdrive available as well. Needs to get out of a sticky situation. Gun barrel not quite being spotted there.
Somewhat aware.
Yeah, not going to be cleared out, and I think that connects onto all 3. Swings up and manages to nail the shot this time around. Buzz on the
Nice,
floor.
Famos. Nice.
Very nicely played. That's going to send T1 packing. I'm going to try and rethink that A-side aggression. Leave Izu over there. Try to spread the map a little bit. With DOS9, who has been just electric to start. Going to be the one holding this down. There might have been a bit of a spot. The ping did come down for T1. Meteor again, try to win that battle in mid. Might have just barely saw.
So consistent about it. There you go. Plays off the back of the flash.
Nice.
Tries to go for
Shiro.
that little wide swing adjustment, but Shiro is able to go ahead and shut it down. 2 players left. Stacks just steadily walking in as DOS9 is able to collect the kill. Sylvan fighting back for 1. Gets himself a second. Now needs to pull off a monstrous clutch. Still 2 players to deal with. On the plan. The relay bolt, the stun. Sylvan just tucked away here. Now looking to try to go for the stick. Swing around, the temptation to swoop forward there into the smoke, but eventually will dissipate. Berserks gets the kill, and boom, will not allow for that timeout to lead to a round victory. They will stretch the lead now up by 2 rounds.
Let's go.
Spreading the map, winning a lot of their individual duels. Basically, they've been handling everybody except for Meteor pretty well, and that's a bit of a head scratcher for T1. A slow start, get away for them. Sure, they had a couple good rounds. Meteor seems just always good for at least a couple. Nice to see Sylvan pick it up here. Only had 1 kill coming into this round. Maybe that'll get him heated up a little bit, but coordination, the communication, really, really effective for Boom Esports. Really impressive. Their composure coming into this. Onto their map, Pick a Pearl. To be fair, this map has been a bit of a struggle for T1 in the offseason, so certainly a map that you would want to try to put some pressure onto your opponents with. This time a little bit of help. Oh, Meteor. Unbelievable.
Let's get back to it. 16-6-1 now. Buzz just bouncing around, checking to see if there's going to be any shots coming his way. Nothing noted there, but forward position established over it being long. Club here is Shiro. Decent amount of information. As it's looking like everyone's going to get filtered in towards all of this KJ util set up on the A site. Lockdown is available, but Berserk's even get into a solid position enough to utilize is the question, because right now he's fairly committed and stuck in dugout. Push coming through, that's a fake out, not going to fall for it. It has a little bit of an issue getting over the wall. But Meteor strikes again. NC Slasher taken down, 2nd kill here for T1's KJ. Berserk starts to play forward. Stack's going to be noted, dealt with. Lockdown used, very close forward here. Relay bolt sent out, overdrive pop, Buzz slides in towards Flower, spots out DOS9, finds the kill. Look to get the clear out. Yep, lockdown now destroyed. Buzz finding a second, Berserk's flushed out, and now Shiro just with 10 HP. Will be found over at Art. Cleaned up T1, looking to bring this to a 6-6 half. They answer back.
Gotta like the decisiveness here from T1. As soon as that lockdown comes through, Buzz pops the ult. It's everybody trying to push and make sure that they can deal with that lockdown. That's a huge opening duel win for Meteor. Once again, Famous struggling a little bit with that operator. Shiro with an early lurk. I mean, Boom is getting really aggressive now on the extremities of the map. You know, if they can find space in mid, in long A and long B, they're just going to keep going until they run into resistance. Maybe T1 this round just wants to end it with a bang. Looks like a bit of a set play. Hard execute towards the A site. Stymies up. They don't catch anybody out. Gonna maybe just try to get somebody pushing through into A main. So gonna use the Cosmic Divide. Izu's gonna use the Dimensional Drift to get the info onto the front of the site. Boom may just have to seed this, play for retake.
Shotgun clears just the alarm bot. Buzz does eat a decent amount of damage here. Turret as well as those nanos take him down to 55. The plant can safely come through. Sight for now in the hands of T1, but everybody from Boom basically clustered up, ready to go for this strike. Alarm bot around the back to try to note Famous, who is on that flank. Cosmic Divide now coming through, cutting off Art. Main, however, still having some access as Hunter's Fury crashes across looking for some targets. Izu going to be taken down, Shiro finding one. Famous now striking, gets rid of Stacks, but Buzz answers one back, but now Meteor has been felled. Silver to Buzz, the last one standing. To try to turn the tides here as the push-up comes through. Buzz gets taken down, Sylvan is out of there. And that's going to be Boom with a 2-round stretch lead at the half.
Great response there from Boom.
Gelo.
Let T1 use their utility. Let them use those big ultimates. Give up that space. You know you've got that Cosmic Divide in your back pocket to really shut that round out.
Serem banget, nice.
For DOS9's Cosmic Divide comes through. It was absolutely massive for them. Again, more flanks that T1 has to deal with. They can't really deal with it cleanly. And once again, Boom, all over the map, all over T1. What a good start for them coming into Pacific.
Absolutely. Great stabilization. I mean, you know, they got those first couple rounds secured, but was looking dicey just given that early economic situation. But Boom, very much finding their form here steadily. Off the back of DOS9, guiding the rest of the team forward.
Ketemu sama T1 bisa begini, serem banget.
If they can close out yet another pistol, they're going to be well poised to take this map.
Yeah, I mean, for Boom fans, you've got to be feeling great. The firepower looks good. The reads look good. I mean, other than a few maybe shaky moments on the operator with Famous, things have been pretty solid all around. And even that wasn't that big of a deal in most cases. And to be fair, look, you're going up against players like Meteor, who are beating everybody in the world in those kind of moments. So nothing that you should feel too down about. But this guy right there, DOS9.
Serem nggak sih?
He's been amazing. And it's been the reads in particular that have set him and his team up for success, where he's in the right spot at the right time to really punish some of the maneuvers that T1 was trying to make. Just incredible. I mean, 17 kills though for Meteor in one half is definitely a thing. Goodness me. Still only 4 for Sylvan, only 4 for Izu, 5 for Stack, so the rest of T1 needs to bring it up a little bit in the firepower department. On this defender's side, a little bit of exploration towards mid, sending out the 0 point just to see if they can bait T1 to stay over towards A, but T1 is getting aggressive. The ping came out though. Boom seems somewhat aware that this is T1's tendencies.
Big push-up coming through. 4 players about to be in mid. 3 getting ready to peek out and go for the clash.
Nice.
Slasher swooping out, is able to find one. Someone Stacks able to go ahead and answer
nice
back. Down here by the turret. Spike now recovered. 3v3, a little bit of added damage there on top of the enemy Neon. T1 coming out pretty equal here.
Able to clear the turret there, but they're going to have to give up the site. There is that Nano Swarm to try to delay this. Boom's going to use the smoke to scale in. Meteor thinking about challenging. Doesn't have any backup though. Be looking for a one and done, but Boom seems very aware of it. They're spamming that angle.
That's now going to be confirmed. Meteor
nice.
swooping out, but DOS9, I mean, the bull's just basically dancing around him. Kill cannot be found. Famous up close, just barrel stuffing there. Finds him. It's now down to Stacks.
Scanning ahead.
The IGL clear out on the recon, no additional information gathered. Does he read that there's 2 in halls? It's gonna be so difficult now. He has confirmed it. He's trying to isolate, divide, and conquer, but he cannot. Berserks will put him down, and Boom will move up to 8.
Let's go.
One for Boom Esports, and this one to me just felt like a hard read from the rip. I mean, they set up that trap into mid. They've got players in mid top. They've got players in shops. They're extremely ready for this. A relay bolt to connect into there as well to keep anybody from being able to back up. Buzz, who's stranded out in the open, ends up dying to the turret, and this is just really, really smart stuff from Boom. And then after that, things start to break apart for T1. You have Meteor going in by himself, and then the other 2 players just kind of left on an island. They try to make big plays, nothing they can really do at that point. It's just gonna
value on that 0 point as well. I think Buzz just eluding it, but still noting 2. Given that, I mean, Buzz trying to get set up, you know, a shorty in hand on the side of that smoke. Not really going to be able to find any targets now.
Now that should be something teams are very aware of. We've seen it all the time last year that Buzz loves to grab that shorty on ecos. Try to find value on it, especially on Neon. Really an agent where he feels like he can get some value out of it. Still, a couple of sheriffs, one sheriff and a marshal. Meteor, no slouch on that marshal, as we all know.
I was gonna say, this is kind of exactly what T1 wants, though, is to kind of filter these players over towards this B site.
Absolutely. You want to let Meteor try to take this round over. He is hot, trying to put the ball in his hands. See if he can come through with a slam dunk on this round.
Oh, well, peek out. 3 players going to be noted. Doesn't get the opportunity to go for the shot. Gila comes up. Clear out the full flash connecting. It a great headshot. Kills off some pressure. Famous going to be taken down.
Nice,
Intercepting though. Just off Sylvan there on the rotation.
44.
As smoke will dissipate. Izu able to find another one. 3 quick kills here. So now the rest of the team gets ready to strike. Meteor going to be taken down. Berserk's arriving in through that link. Stacks here. Just the classic in hand. Jordy here available for Buzz. Slides forward. Stacks is able to collect them both. Buzz just playing distract. And T1 will turn the tides here in the second half, not allowing for that anti-eco to come through.
A great setup there for the long-time teammates, Buzz and Stacks at the end. Buzz just playing bait. Stacks with the classic coming in. Izu great with the sheriff.
Gorgeous shots.
These are absolutely disgusting. Berserk's trying to do what he can. Finds the flank, finds the late lurking player, shuts him down. Nice shot from DOS9 with the Marshal, but it's a great combo play there. Trying to take down Buzz, and that could be the momentum swing that T1 needed. Try to turn this map around. Full rifles in hand. Another Bucky, Guardian. Berserk's Famous just spraying with a classic, and he's just going deep with this Bucky.
Decent amount of firepower that may have to be respected. There's that Guardian, that Sheriff. And the Famous is going to be able to close the gap, and of course the Bucky will make its presence known. But just going to be a quick peek into Art. They get the alarm bot set up here. It's apparently spotting nothing. Drone on the opposite side, up through sewers. Not noting anything either there for Stacks.
What's the Buzz?
Slasher trying to go to water.
Oh, Buzz. Taking this first contact, swings onto the corner, and they're basically lined up for him. 2 quick kills, and the spike on the floor. This is one of the worst places that it could possibly be stranded. Buzz trying to escape, but now slides back. Needs a decent amount of damage there from that Bucky, but ultimately is able to tuck back. 13 health, still alive. Meteor holding things down, snappy on the headshot. Shiro hits the floor. Now it's down to DOS9, just the recovered Guardian here in hand to try to get a plant down, try to get some extra money to try to get some damage here. Otherwise, T1 are going to be looking at another flawless.
See what he's got in store for us, but Sylvan holding this angle. Yeah, that should be done and dusted. It's going to be 7 rounds for T1, 8 for Boom Esports. T1 off the back of that eco, able to convert against Boom's eco.
Yeah,
now things get real interesting. Should be full rifles coming through for both sides here. Buzz just a little bit of a timing there. I think if Boom had kind of pushed a few steps forward, they would have been looking in his direction. Maybe could have gotten a trade at the very least. Instead, Buzz finds the timing perfectly.
Let's go.
It's going to be a Bulldog for Stacks, but otherwise, full Vandals for Boom, full rifles for the rest of T1. Flash over, clear some space here. Boom spraying through. Spike, though, still on the floor behind them. And now you've got, look at all these players from T1.
Yeah, T1 basically making the same call that we saw from the pistol round. This time, though, not nearly as much pressure from Boom to try to stave this off, but just a peek out, a clear on that KJ turret, and ultimately will be a drift back over towards their respective sites.
That's just a bit of a fake there. Seeing what kind of response they get out of Boom. Spray through the door. Buzz continue to challenge that angle at Art. Stacks gonna do a little bit of scouting towards long. So a lot of information here for the side of T1. They have a decent idea of where at least 2 or 3 players are. And with Meteor's utility not getting contacted over at B, they can lean towards this A side.
Buzz gonna be eating a little bit of pressure there, sits in the fast lane. The Prowler comes chasing. Tucks all the way back here towards the site. Rotations now getting ready to slowly begin for the likes of Meteor and Izu. Still the approach on the site continues here. Boom, starting to inch their way forward. Shiro going to be spotted over on the side. Swing onto the corner. Famous going to be taken down. Shiro, Berserk's against the Slasher. All one apiece. The site now opened up a bit, but Meteor arrives. Saves the bomb, swings under the corner,
Ooh.
comes up with 2.
Spike down
Stacks
A.
though, once again, last man standing.
Nice.
Weakened, but splits the difference with swinging in and looking for the planter, not ready for Berserks.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's
Boom will
go.
not allow for T1 to continue on their merry way here.
Let's go, let's go.
Yeah, this is a good round for T1 in the information game. They know exactly what Boom's doing, but Boom able to just break through the defenses at A to get behind the box, clear it out relatively efficiently, and put T1 in an odd man situation trying to play to prevent the plant spike. Really a great display of firepower, quite frankly, from Boom so far in this game.
Yeah.
They've been matching T1 at every step.
And it's a much needed shutdown there in that round as well. Effectively T1's bonus round after winning out in the eco. Deny that away.
Ooh,
Izu
he's gonna
not going to be fast enough to go ahead and clear out that haunt, so has to just take that gate crash out to safety, puts himself now back in towards Halls. Prowler will confirm the back pillar is cleared. As ooh, got a spot out there. Nebula gets popped. DOS9 seemingly reading this so very well. Izu jumping
Nice.
up, and it's just right into his
Nice
web.
banget.
What a read!
Nice banget, sabar
He's been
banget.
doing it all game.
Terus nan.
He's got T1 downloaded.
Is he like a mentalist? Like he's just getting into his head. They're not even communicating, and he's still just making him do exactly what he wants him to.
I think he's got a great read on their tendencies on this map. I mean, it was something that T1 did play a little bit in the offseason. So he just really has a good feel for how these players want to go.
Meteor just getting absolutely stunned up here. He is just dead to rights. Famous will find the second as Buzz will fall.
Vamos, nice.
2v5, the call to save has long since been made. And Stax and Sylvan will have to just sit back, hold on to their guns tight, as Boom get themselves up to double digits.
I mean, in my eyes right now, this just comes down to a strategy diff. Like, they're really understanding how T1 wants to play this map, and they're kind of mentally prepared to deal with it in a lot of different ways. In the previous round, with how they might be set up to try to defend the A site, in this round, understanding where Izu might want to reposition with that operator. That early information there gave them the ability to smoke off that angle. DOS9 understands that maybe Izu's going to want to take a peek up over the screen. And he is 100% correct. And then they're just able to land some great utility again on the back of that box, Berserks.
Sylvan at risk here, but Berserk's not going to pursue any further forward, it would seem. So the two weapons will be carried over. The operator can be passed off. But looking like we might have that second time out coming through here from T1. But yeah, I mean, it's just beautifully read. I mean, DOS9 didn't take his eyes off screen pretty much at all. He sets up the Nebula and goes, yep, he's just going to peek me here. And he trusts that he's going to be able to, have the jump.
Just phenomenal. I mean,
yang
it's
kedua.
T1 now. I think you're
Udah mulai
maybe
deg-degan
going to start
T1.
considering getting a little bit aggressive on the
T1
map.
udah mulai
Trying
deg-degan
to
nih.
push some space. That's the rounds where we've seen him have success here on this defender side, is when they've been putting pressure.
Kenapa nih T1 nih? Masalahnya apa?
Things like that. Try to see if you can make a play to control B ramp. Really try
T1
to
sudah
corral
mulai
Boom
deg-degan
Esports.
ya.
Even that being said, even when they've been able to do that in some ways, Boom's been able to respond nicely with some great utility. That's just been nailing T1 players, making their lives very, very challenging. And this is something you're going to have to deal with Boom. On most maps, they're going to be running double initiators. That's something that they do almost everywhere. And so you have to be really well prepared for how those flashes and those other things are going to be coming your way, how to respond to them. And T1 so far, a little bit up and down in that regard. Now you've even got the Nightfall available for NC Slasher. Yes, Izu has the dimensional drift, but he also has an operator. Let's see how they want to navigate that. Deep Star, early setup. A couple players here. Got both duelists trying to push A long. But a flash at the ready for Boom to maybe try to counter this push out.
Quick flash, just some spray. Nebula. Let's get dropped. Izu. Stay set up on the line here. Prowler coming through, wanting to try to keep that disguised. So they are able to clear out the Prowler. Pop not yet noted.
Well, now Shiro's stuck back there. So he might be able to force out another smoke.
Nightfall coming through, quick jump out. Shot connecting though, Shiro down to 5 HP. Meteor holding down Art is able to find one push forward from Berserks. He will be able to answer it back. A 1-for-1 in that regard. Pretty in hand from Izu, decides to go ahead, opens things up with that dimensional drift, and Stacks plays off the info. NC Slasher now on the floor. Flank noted, the push coming through.
Nice.
Stacks does get taken down, but Sylvan's able to answer one back as Toss9 does get dropped. Spray forward into the smoke, as that will be the cleanup coming through. T1, the timeout works a treat. 3 players left standing.
Walking at the modern
Close the gap now, just down to 2 rounds.
Yeah, just a really nice kind of
Working
counter
at them,
pressure
what they
play. Let Boom think it's safe, give them a little bit of space, and then start hitting them as they try to make their way into the execute. Don't give them the ability to get that util off. Start cutting them off at the point of attack. Really smart stuff. Good timeout there from T1. See what the adjustment will be for the side of Boom. Desperately needed this round. Starting to feel it a little bit. Couple lockdowns in play. Stacks has the counter to that though. Hunter's Fury available. Both Astros have their cosmic divides. See if Sylvan can match what DOS9 was able to do. So find some timely cosmic divides that will allow for relatively easier retakes.
Oh, there's the flash and there's the kill.
Maju banget itu si
Jump there on Berserks.
Basnya.
Solid opener. Potential flanks. It's going to be a little bit less of a concern now as Meteor playing forward. Puts the spike on the floor and manages to transition to the second. Shiro Famous both knocked out. This is a heavy investment round here from Boom as well with the Cosmic Divide into play. But Izu puts that off to good use, and T1 pull off yet another flawless play. They have 4 in this map so far, despite still being at a deficit. But now it's just 1 round separating.
Just a great early play here from Buzz. Not a lot of contact in that direction, and that's exactly what I was talking about earlier, that I wanted to see a little bit more from T1. Start pushing some of these extremities, start challenging Boom a little bit in open space. And they've been going A a lot, so now you're starting to suspect they might go B, and they've got some great plans. I mean, Meteor's Meteor, 23 kills. Nice step through that Cosmic Divide by Izu. See if Buzz can find the damage there. Not really. Connect onto Famous. Trying to
clear it out, relay pull. Oh, gets the leg shot. Famous down to 5 once again. Find that opening damage, and it's going to be NC Slasher who ends up falling. It's basically 2 kills found. A stiff breeze is all that it will take to take down that enemy Neon. And immediately, Boom have to pack their bags. Look to play around a different side of the map.
Yeah, maybe just hoping to explode a little bit there as Boom. See if they could maybe get into a position where they could use that lockdown. Give themselves some breathing room. Instead, T1 again contesting this space and very effectively. Gonna get a lot of info off that drone.
Check peek out. They will have heard this. Ooh. Heavy stack up. Buzz eating some damage, but Nano Swarm still there at the ready. Meteor opting to hold that. Knows that he's got that alarm bot to go ahead and alert.
So much delay in mid here.
Start spotting one. Meteor looking for the swing in off the back of that stun. Plays forward, eats the flash. The swing now coming through, and he's still going to be good for 1. Sylvan, however, set him down. Link comes up with 2. Now it is all on DOS9 in a 1v3. Spike in hand, but Izu on a hard line here with the AWP. 18 seconds, the Nebula about to pop, but Izu catches a glimpse, and that's more than enough. 10-10, we are all tied up.
Yeah. This is starting to look really good now for T1. Let's see if Boom thinks about time out. They still have both of theirs. They haven't used a single one yet. Must be nice. Sit back and wait. I mean, Meteor, that flash expiring just quick enough that he's able to find a target.
Iya,
Take him down.
kelihatan.
Man, a little bit dangerous there.
Akhirnya
Yeah,
Boom ketemu teh.
Boom is going to be grabbing their first timeout of the year. Try to rethink. Try to re-strategize, see if they can find a way now, kind of break through what T1 is doing. So they're getting aggressive. Do you just kind of hold back? Do you try to just wait them out, let them burn that util? You try to get a little bit ahead of it. Get your util a little bit deeper. Try to get a step ahead of T1 to break through some of these setups that they've got going. What a great match to start here, huh?
I mean, great way to kick things off. Tied up here at 10-10, the back and forth. I mean, the brutality that we saw in those opening rounds especially. It has been a hell of an opening series.
I missed this.
It's been an off season. You know?
Yeah, it has.
Nice to be back. We're all very happy to know that the off season is over.
Absolutely. Great to have the most entertaining league in the world back. No bias at all.
Break's over. Gotta go.
Saying that, but still.
Bias is just still true.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm not gonna lie, it is full bias and also true. But still a lot of ults in play for both squads. Buzz again, changing this angle, and this time pulls off quickly. Boom gonna go for this slow, methodical approach towards long A, but we're gonna have to rethink it a little bit. Clear that dart makes it so they have to kind of readjust their plans. And like I said, one of the ways that you can kind of counter what T1 was doing is just kind of plant your feet and wait them out a little bit, and that's what they're doing. They're gonna get a bit of information, both duelists in art. So how do you want to navigate around that? Looks like to me they're considering a fake towards B, then a push towards A, but if that's their plan, T1's got that pretty well locked down. Still a lot of time on the clock though. So you can play around. See if T1 wants to get aggressive. Catch them stepping a little bit out of bounds. Punish them accordingly. And it is going to be a full wrap towards A. They feel like there's been enough time. They haven't really given much info over. You're going to have to assume that you've forced T1 to fan out.
Oh, well, decent timing on that jump back, but still decent sight line in towards Famous. Famous able to dodge that first shot. Oh, the bounce forward. Sylvan now striking. Does get revealed here by the Haunt. Swings out. Does get gunned down. Shiro able to go ahead and collect one. Push forward though, out of the smoke. Shiro on the floor. Buzz. The instant headshot. Takes out Slasher. Looks for the transfer. Can't quite make it happen, but it's still an immense amount of damage done. The final shots from Izu will put T1 in the lead. 11-10.
T1 here. Great call from Stacks. The counter patience. Just really nicely.
Bisa dibalikin gitu.
Never had any contact over towards B.
Serem banget.
There's never any real threat in that direction. So they were able to keep this A stack and just set up these crossfires, start knocking players down. Sylvan with the patience, lets the player go through. Izu steady with the operator again. And T1 now 2 more rounds, and they finally found the lead here again. Very early part of the game when they were up 3-2.
Good for maybe a rush play here, but immediately they do get slowed up. Jump across, Famous able to go ahead. Leaps over top of this bullet spray. Damage eluded for now, but in that space taken, nothing there, no catch that they can find. Do the back away. Izu in the meantime. Far forward angle. Has the gate crash set up at Halls to keep himself protected.
This is an eco here for Boom, but they pinged out that alarm bot. Toss9 just waiting around that corner, maybe anticipating that Meteor might be lurking there. Instead, he's going to try to use that angle a little bit. It was just a smidge underneath that smoke that you could see through. There they go.
Concealment.
Sylvan just backpedaling, but Meteor, he's set up, he's ready for that pinch forward. Famous shut down. Entry power now very much taken out of the hands here of Boom. And then you're already on an eco. Makes things all the rougher here for them. Players approaching here on Meteor's position, clears out the one. They're looking to try to corral him. They are able to do so. Stacks, however, picking up from Seward. Does manage to find one. NC Slasher going to be taken down, but a weapon is still going to be recovered here for Boom as they turn their sights over to B.
He's got to be real careful. He has no more of this util to help him out.
If he does not, plant coming through, and it's going to be within the smoke.
Spike planted.
Just play this out patiently, but they're very much locked into Link here.
Berserks.
One spot's nothing, and as you say, Berserks is on the rotation. Very long flank coming through. Cosmic Divide now going to be coming through as Izu immediately goes for the tap and Stacks. Just lobbing in those darts, finds one. Shiro will be able to put one down, gets the second. Does interrupt the defuse, but this Cosmic Divide completely staves off Berserks here for the moment. Swing out, but can't quite nail that final shot. And even then, Stacks had already pulled it off. T1 get themselves up to map point.
A tricky round here. I like the ideas from Boom. Able to really work the mid part of that map really nicely. Isolate Meteor, where he has no chance to really do a ton of damage. Yeah, Stacks gets there to claim a trade. That's all they get out of it. They're able to get a kind of an interesting plant spot down. However, Sylvan in the Cosmic Divide, again, showing why so many people are going to lean into that agent on this map. One of the reasons, of course, that ult's so good. Obviously, the gravity well and the other things that you can do. So Star is very, very nice. Buzz there. Clears the haunt and says, I'm good. Izu, your turn. Step up to the plate. See what you can do with that op. Instead, she's going to be smoked off. Quick dissipate, though.
Bisa operator sih.
Looking Looks like Boom maybe
Berbeda yang
pumping the brakes a little bit. Stack's gonna check to make sure. Yeah, just gonna clear the drone and wait this one out. Again, it's just kind of back to that T1 sort of absorb the pressure, try to cut them off before they can really set up for their executes. It's a good 0 point.
I mean, yeah, Izu's been running the op every single round here for the squad. Hasn't been passed over to anybody else, so immediately can identify that it's in position here on this A site. Waiting for the strike, though. Lockdown at the ready. No Hunter Sphere to clear that out. So it does get put into play. Three-player approach going to be steadily streaming in from Arts, waiting for the call to go.
Oh my god.
Yeah, just looking for some kind of timing shot there. Snaps back over towards the spawn room. Lockdown not finding anything. Now they go in for the entry. Buzz fully blinded up. I mean, he's just straight, but he doesn't even know where the hell he is. He gets taken down. Stack's going to be dead. Sylvan gone. Smoke dissipating, but Izu just no sightlines here to work with. Just he and Meteor. See if they can get anything done. Pull off a 2v5 to end the map.
Last player standing.
When Meteor falling, Izu wants to hold on to the operator. We'll just go ahead and steadily make his exit. Boom, not done yet.
Ortega, guys. Ortega.
Find that magic when they needed it most. Boom Esports breaks through. Maybe sending our first map of the year here to overtime. Nice patience shown. Good identification of that operator position, and Izu there trying to bait out some utility by pressing forward before he TPs out. Gets the alarm bot, I think, to pop even, and just dips out, but that opens up the space that Boom needs to make their execute. So that's one way to break through these defenses that T1 is trying to set up. Kind of force their hand a little bit earlier than they'd like. Give yourself that opportunity to explode onto the site there. That's what they're going to do. You're also able to control Arts. You're able to get that flank. A great flash. Connects. And all of a sudden, many players from T1 are on the floor. Spike goes through. Here we go. Can Boom take us to overtime? Well, they're going to take a timeout to consider. See how they want to do this. Do they have some kind of special play in the playbook that they are going to be thinking about dialing in for this round?
Well, either way, well advised. If you can get it over to overtime, obviously both teams will get that added timeout to utilize in those rounds. But you need to go through overtime if you want to close out this map. Find victory there. Otherwise, you're going to be put at match point once again, getting ready to play against a Korean team on Bind. T1's showings on that map has looked very, very good. So
Hey,
wanting to get that 1-0 start in the set for sure.
Yeah, they haven't lost Bind in the offseason. It's been pretty good. I would not be looking forward to playing them on that map in the early part of this year for sure. The lockdown, the biggest ult to speak of for T1. Both duelist Neons do have their ults, but one away from the Cosmic Divide and one away from the Nightfall here. So some orb congestion definitely could be really valuable.
Both playing over towards the B side though. Looks like Widely not going to be getting those ults online at least via the ult orbs here.
This is a kind of, I would say, unexpected position that T1 is setting up in with that operator cutting off mid, but they managed to sneak around it.
Two-man push up, this time gives the Prowler enough space. Buzz looking for that covering fire, and he's just gonna find Famous through the door! So damn unfortunate here for Boom.
Bahaya buat Boom.
They might try to double down on this position though. Berserk does take out Izu, that's the op gone.
Okay, a solid equalizing kill, a 4v4. But critically, Meteor still alive, still with that lockdown. Tucks back, he's over towards Hall. In the meantime, Boom, turn the sights once more over towards this A site. DOS9 on that rotate. I don't think anybody pushed far enough forward to be able to grab the orb outside of A, so he can get the Cosmic Divide online here for the site take.
Stax and Sylvan might have to come up huge. Trying to set up a crossfire. Stax with a good recon, gets cleared. Decent info.
Sylvan once again playing forward, has not been noted quite just yet. Swing out of the smoke, finds one, another Nebula going to be popped. Landing figures here online, Buzz just fishing for any kind of damage he can give. Berserk's able to answer one back, and Sylvan will fall, but he gets traded out, and Stax is able to find the kill on the opposite side. 3v2, the man advantage there at the time is not on their side. 8 seconds remaining, having to get that spike down, but they just cannot. DOS9, he does not have the time, he does not have the hope. 13-11, T1 will scrape by with a victory here on Pearl.
Lagi.
What a way to start the year. A great back and forth between these two teams. Great adjustments on both sides. Great plays showcased, especially from Meteor and DOS9. Looking absolutely amazing. Berserk's had a good map as well. That's what I'm talking about.
Just unfortunately, not quite enough. Getting a little bit frazzled here in those last few rounds. Felt like the pressure started to ramp up. Meanwhile, T1 were shrugging off of the shortcomings that we were seeing from them at the beginning half. Either
Ya
way,
guys,
though, a very
gua
contentious
kayak
map.
lagi mau istirahat dulu. So thank you udah nonton itu tadi. Match kedua bisa kalian lihat langsung aja di Twitch atau di Valorant Indonesia ya. Thank you guys udah nonton. Bye bye.